And in the beginning, there's one song about dreams.
Yeah.
And even it may seem a little bit cheesy, but what kind of dreams still keep you awake, like in the song?
Oh gosh, I have a lot. I probably have more dreams now than ever. I'm really, like most parents, you're probably too young to have kids, right?
I'm 30, I could, but I don't. But I have a nephew. And I'm really proud
Like
of my
most
nephew.
parents, my dreams are about my kids. Every time I blow out a candle or do something in a cake, it's always about my kids. But for me, for my career, for the world I want to build and create, I believe that. I think you got to have the imagination, you got to visualize it and go out and create and make it happen.
What dreams keep me awake?
Every night that whole song.
That
That's the one he's talking
one.
about.
Oh boy.
Million dreams are keeping me awake. That part.
Yeah.
If you don't want to answer it, you can sing the song and just.
That was pretty good.
No, because I got you. I got you. He picked the lyrics out. I get it. I would say, I know this is super duper corny because I'm about to top your corny factor, but like.
Thank you.
Okay, so you said the dream thing. I'm gonna go with world peace, and I know it sounds crazy, but right now we need a little peace and we need some love in this world because it's getting crazy.
Yeah.
So that's my dream that keeps me up at night.
Okay, you cannot top that.
No, you can, no. That's like what everyone dreams of right now. I think that's definitely our goal.
I'm not the only one that goes to bed like stressed out about like the current situation, just everything.
You're right.
No, it's crazy. Our planet's dying in so many ways. We have to save it, like with the love.
You know, for 7 years it was this film.
Okay.
Yeah, it really was, and it was about sharing that dream. That was all I wanted was, you know, for people to come into a cinema and the lights to go down, and them to hear, you know, whoa, and like.
Yeah, after 1 minute, we just went, okay, we're gonna love this.
Well, the whole point of that number was to stop people eating their popcorn. So like you're sitting there eating popcorn, going, "I'm about to see a movie and whatever." You know, it's a musical. Hugh Jackman's in it. Of course, I'm going to come. You know, Zac and Zendaya. And then I wanted them literally to stop eating the popcorn and be like, "What is this?" And that was the point of that opening moment.
And there are lots of scenes I have a very strong connection because of my family and experiences. Right. So there's a very dramatic scene where Philip wants to fulfill Anne a dream with a visit to the theater. Yeah. And I was totally spellbounded because I remembered how I fulfilled my mother the dream to see a ballet at the Royal Albert House, Royal Albert Opera House. Royal Opera House. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In London.
Yeah.
And I will never forget her face and how she crushed just my hands because she was so happy to be there. So when did you have an experience like Zendaya and Zac in the movie, and also when you had an experience like me in real life? So when was it okay to fulfill or able to fulfill? And when
the first time I sang in America was at Carnegie Hall. Oh. And it was a huge thrill for me, and I was very nervous, and my dad has seen everything I've ever done, but when I rang him about that, he jumped on a plane from Australia and came straight out. And on the day, he turned up in a full black tie with the bow tie and everything. And I said, "Dad, it's not black tie." And he goes, "My son's singing at Carnegie Hall. It's black tie for me." And I remember seeing him crying, looking out, and I could see him because he's wearing the black tie. I could see him in the audience crying. That was probably like the moment you had with your mum. For me, I always loved going to the theatre. The first theatre show I ever remember seeing was actually at a school, and it had Hugo Weaving, who's quite a famous actor, was in it. It was just a high school production. And I went straight home, and it was Man of La Mancha, and I bought the album, and I listened to it over and over again, and I just remember that.
And it's your first one, so
yeah. So they're just going to get better from here.
This is crazy, and the most people start with a smaller project, but you start with such a big one. So where do you find the balls to rock a project like Greatest Showman?
I mean, in the world of commercials, I come from doing sort of musical and spectacle. So for me, as crazy as some of these musical numbers were, I felt very at home shooting them, you know. Okay. And it may sound like madness, but for me, I feel very comfortable standing amidst the circus. And it was very exciting because it kind of, you know, it does in many ways plays to my strengths. And so I have to be very thankful for the career I've had shooting commercials to be able to take on something of this scale.
Zac, it's been a while from the last time enjoying your singing skills in a movie. So Greatest Showman is a kind of classic musical, one of the oldest motion picture genre. So how long do you wait to prove your talent in a kind of movie like this?
Really quickly, I just want to interject and say the whole time we were rehearsing, he was just like, I'm just kind of rusty, and just kind of like, and then I heard what he recorded because I didn't hear what he recorded, and I was like, okay, Zach, look at you. You're trying to hide it the whole time.
No, I mean, it was, your voice is like a muscle like any other muscle, and if you give it too long of a break, I think it takes time to build it back up. So it took me a little while to get it back, and then they kind of tricked me in the recording studio. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna do it lower.
Just go for it."
We're like recording it lower because there was a pretty high note in the song, and after a few times we recorded it, like the mic just went blank, and I was like, "What's going on? Are we going again? Hello? What's going on?" I'm like trapped in the booth, just like sitting and staring. I'm like, "Guys, hello?" And like maybe 2 minutes went past, and finally I like got out and looked around, and they were all jumping up and down and like in the room, and I couldn't really hear them, but I looked through the glass and I was like, they were talking to me, but I couldn't hear them.
Did
So
they
come on,
trick
they go.
you into thinking that you were singing it
Yeah,
lower?
they
but you
raised
were
it
actually
every
just singing?
time, and they were raising it like slowly. They're like, "Dude, you've done it every time on the note," and I was like, "Really? What the heck? How'd that happen?"
See?
So yeah, I don't know. They play. I guess I got it back a little bit.
I know it's a very emotional movie, so I think my questions are all about emotions and just like, ooh, because it's a declaration of love for being different.
Yes.
And for you, what's the most important message in it for you? And the opposite, why do you think are so many people afraid of being different?
I love the message in this movie, the main message, which I think is about inclusion and tolerance, and that the thing that makes you different makes you special. And I think right now in the world, we're having a little bit of a reaction to that. People are like a little nervous or scared or worried about the person that's different from them because things are changing so quickly in so many areas, in gender politics and sexuality, all those politics, in terms of migration and refugees. There's so much going on. I think it's a nice reminder, but let's not forget that every single person on the planet goes through this moment, probably from around about age 8 through to 18, where you just don't want to be different. Please don't circumvent. I don't want to get attention for that. I want to be like everyone else. I want to be a cool kid, And then gradually, hopefully kids see this and realize being cool is a complete waste of time. Just be you. That's all you have to worry about.
How did you convince Fox believing in this idea? Or were they just like, of course, Michael, do it?
No. I mean, a first-time filmmaker on this scale for an original musical. I mean, there's a lot of things that are not appealing.
They just hit the risk button.
Yeah, I mean, credit to them, at a certain point. I mean, it took 7 years to convince everyone that this was worthwhile. So it was, a lot of work went into that. And a lot of work went into making people feel comfortable about what we were embarking on. So, we had to get all the songs right, which, Benj and Justin, to their credit, for 3 years, they just wrote and wrote and wrote and rewrote songs until we had songs that, were undeniable. It's like, you can like this music, you can not like this music, but you have to admit this song gets stuck in your head. Yeah. And it was the same visually, I with Joel Chang, who's an incredible artist, we sketched out every single shot in the film before we filmed it. So there is literally a sketch of every shot in the film. So not just storyboarding, which is like pencil sketches, but these are beautiful color, almost like painterly frames of every shot in the film.
So we're waiting for the Greatest Showman exhibition.
Yeah, there could be there is an amazing exhibition to be had, but it literally, we had to do a lot more than you would do on a normal film for people to feel comfortable about the scale and the amount of money that it took to realize this film.
I love the connection to the topic circus because the next connection to the family, we're just going to circus every year. We're sitting in the front row.
Really?
So, and our friends who worked in a circus. So
Really?
that was just like, so, ooh, wow, a movie about circus. It's great to see that, to see this. So you have a kind of connection to the topic, or you would just like fascinated because of the character?
No, I love the idea of the circus. They're kind of gypsies all coming together, and that famous idea, I'm going to run away with a circus. That thing of the glamour of being in showbiz and being on the road and traveling. It was like that for me. I never thought it would be circus. I thought it'd be a different type of circus. When I was younger, I wanted to be a rock star. That kind of circus, I thought. But in the end, You know, I mean, movies and theatre, it's circus. We travel around the world, a bunch of gypsies entertaining people.
And if you're a superstar, and you have so many people who will not stop smoothing you up or tell you how great you are. And our character in the movie is just like getting kind of a takeoff. So what do you do to avoid to take off? Because I've met you now 4 times. I see you and it's just like you're completely staying on the ground. This is awesome.
I mean, I became famous, I suppose, when I was 30. I think it's harder if you're 15 and you become famous. But, you know, by the time you're 30, I remember for most of my life how people treated me. So if people treat me like in this way, I go, well, that's not real. Like because I didn't walk down the street at 21 and people going, oh, wow, look at that guy. No, everyone ignored me. Like, so, you know, I've had enough life experience to see it for what it is, I think.
Perfect. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure,
and
man. Thanks for your responsibility.
Thumbs up for the movie, and I hope it will be very